Continuing with our video for the Hinderer XM18 and XM24 Generation 5. So basically, if you want a good quality this knife, again, let me remind you, you just paid about 600 for this guy and 500 for the fatty version, and you need to replace the bronze, the Teflon washers, and buy bronze phosphorus one, and you might also need to replace these screws. That will cost you some more money, and again, I just don't think it's fair to the customer. I think it's a customer robbery, or maybe that's how you milk the sheep. It's just sad that Hinderer, with such a high-end knife, he would include such a some crappy parts. I also don't like this mushroom Phillips head screws. I mean, what is this? It's such an expensive high-end knife, and this just makes it look cheap. That's like putting Chinese cheap $50 rims on a brand new Ferrari or Lamborghini. It's just not cool. You know, first thing first, let's talk a little bit about Rick Hinderer. Personally, I think he's an amazing and very talented knife designer, but not so good, or maybe okay, knife maker at best. Well, over the years he has become a pretty good knife maker, and with the new Generation 6 three-way pivot system and the full truck model Hinderer knife, which is my favorite of all Hinderers, I think he was able to bridge the gap and transform himself into a much better knife maker, or less of a douchebag, because he does include the ball bearings, the phosphorus bronze washers, and the knife is very well built, and I could not have been happier. So maybe he listened to the customers, and he did do some corrections. But again, once you pass the $200 benchmark, the knife user requirements will get pretty steep, very strong, and very straightforward. Once you approach and pass the $500 mark, these requirements will become very unforgiving. So that's why I am unforgiving with my commentaries and criticism, because at that price point, I'm sorry, but the customer does not deserve Teflon washers. Customer does not deserve anything but titanium screws. Customer does not need to go and get a proprietary tool. You can include that tool. I'm sure it doesn't cost $75 for Hinderer to make that proprietary tool. Maybe $3-4 at best. So again, that's just a little douchebag behavior from the producers. I've had a lot of discussions about XM18, XM24 with my knife maker and knife collector friends, YouTube reviewers, and there were a few shocking statements they shared that took me by surprise. Now, I don't know whether I should believe them or not, but some comments were like, my $50 Chinese CVV knife performed better than XM18 slicer. Wow, it's really hard to believe. But I've also seen a Chinese counterfeit Hinderer and Chinese counterfeit Strider that came with bronze washers. But these guys, well, the Hinderer one, prior generation, comes with cheap Teflon, but Chinese counterfeiters put the bronze phosphorus one. Wow. I cannot say anything else other than wow. So for hard use and super hard use, I don't know. I think out of my knives, if I would say something for a super hard, super heavy use, my Cold Steel 4 Max will eat both of these Hinderers for lunch, for breakfast, and for dinner. No knife could compete with this guy, and it sells half price any of these knives. So this is true hard use knife, axe, machete, whatever you want. You can take a concrete wall down with this. So I would trust this guy with a super heavy and hard use than the Hinderers. So overall, my final thoughts. I do like these knives. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these are horrible knives, but again, what I'm saying that at $500 to $600 the Hinderer knives should come with premium materials, bronze washers instead of cheap plastic Teflons, these mushroom Phillips head screws, and it should have much better materials. That's unforgivable, and that's just I can't compromise that. Those cheap stainless steel screws, I don't know what to say. Again, it's like, for example, a perfect comparison, the 120K brand new Corvette. Outside it looks crazy, badass night, a badass car. It roars like a beast. It just feels angry, aggressive car. You sit down inside and interior is made of cheap plastic, and it just does not feel any different than sitting in Ford Focus or Kia. So you're like, what the hell? Am I in Corvette, or what is it? But by looking at the logos on the car, you're sitting in a 120K Corvette, but interior's made of a cheap plastic material. So if you want any good materials, you have to upgrade it. Oh, you don't like the rims, spend extra for this. You don't like fenders, spend extra. But at that point, if you're going to spend for your 120K sports car extra 30 or 40, you're better off getting something much more high-end, something faster, and something more badass. So again, what Hinderer did with this, I think that was a customer robbery and dickery of huge proportions. And on Hinderer Facebook page, they do like to make you feel bad if you complain about this with like crap responses like, if you cannot afford Hinderer knife, then you are too poor to afford a good knife. Oh yeah, dude, that's how you milk the sheep. Have them pay extra $300 just for the horsehead logo, Hinderer sign, and force them to buy additional parts. So again, I love these knives. These are amazing, cool knives. I just wish Hinderer would be more respectful to our wallets and the customers, and he actually took care of those fine details and made these blades with superior components and took care of all the little minor details.